it's Kimberly with Simply Organizing Life. Did you just buy a Canva template off of Etsy or the Simply Organizing Life store? Feel free to watch this video as a quick little tutorial to get you started editing that template. This is an example Canva template that I just wanted to go over a couple of quick things on how to easily modify a template. So one of the biggest things you can do is you can click on text and change the font to whatever you want. And you can search by different types like handwriting, and then it'll give you examples. Anything with the crown icon means that you have to be a Canva Pro user to use it. But all of the templates that are for sale via Simply Organizing Life do not require Canva Pro elements. So for instance, we can pick this Beth Ellen and see how it applies to this. Personally, I can't read this, but it might be your thing. Or maybe apricots. And just kind of change the style. But everywhere there was this initial brie serif, you can now change to apricots. So if you specifically like this font and want to use it more throughout your document, just click change all. Now, as you see, it changed and applied to the whole thing. Anywhere there was previous font. You can also easily change the name. So maybe it's a Sarah, or maybe you're not going to New Orleans, you're going to NOLA, or it's a birthday weekend. Something like that. You can change it, you can spice it up, you can add to it. You can easily change all of this. So the activity is going to be brunch in the French Quarter at XYZ. And then later that day, you're going to do the pub crawl, like a pub crawl, or a ghost tour. How about a ghost tour? Because those are fun. And you can easily update it and change it. Say you don't particularly like this mask image. One, you could definitely change the colors associated with it. So if you wanted it less with pink and all having the yellow, you can click the color that you're wanting to change. And here it has a document's color section where the yellow is already listed. So you can click on that, and now where it was pink is now yellow. Or say you actually want the mask itself to be green. So you click where it's purple, and instead of saying the purple color, you can hit green. And you can change things around like this. And say the green feathers you initially had, you actually want those to be the purple ones. So you can definitely mix and match to however you like it, whatever your style is. Or if you don't like it at all and you want to change things up, you would click on it and then delete. And then it goes away. And then over here in the elements section, you can click on it and see different graphics that are similar. But notice some of these are pro. But here's a fleur-de-lis that you could put instead. You can click and drag, or you could have double clicked. Now, just because you don't have Canva Pro doesn't mean that you can't use these images. You just would have to pay individually for them at checkout. And then you can resize them easily, or you can rotate to make this really your own design. And this applies to any of the templates that I sell in the Simply Organizing Life shop as well. And I will include a link to the shop in the description below. Say you actually wanted to have 2 of these. There is an easy way to do this as well, where you can click the image that you like. I'm going to close this so we have more space. You can click the image you like and then hit the duplicate button. And so now you can have two if that's really what you wanted. This is obviously not how I personally would design it, but I just wanted to show you some options associated with images. And you can definitely change them, move them around. Say you want them over here instead, or at the bottom, or say you wanted the necklace to be sideways for whatever reason. There you go. You can easily make it your own. I did forget to include earlier, you can change the colors of the fonts very easily. So I went over how to change the font type, but the color of the font is literally just by hitting text color and then say you want this green instead. Or if you don't like it at all, you don't have to, you can undo it here at the top. So those were some of the bigger things there. And you can change these lines as well. If you don't like these lines or you want a solid line, they have plenty of options up here. You can change it to a solid line instead of a dotted line, or a big dash line versus the initial small one. You can make it have rounded ends. If it was a line, it would be a little bit easier to see, and you can see it has a rounded end there, versus if I undid that portion, it's a nice flat end. So there's lots of ways to customize this to however you like it. The next section we can talk about is the background. So here, if you just click on the background itself, you can see that it has a background color of this. But if you just wanted it to be a white background, you can search for white and it'll immediately be able to change it. Or say it came up with this blue color that for some reason you really wanted instead. It's easy to change the colors. Sometimes you will come across items that are locked and you do have to unlock it. So for instance, okay, say I just fixed this and now I want to go over here and change this. But notice I can't do anything because it has this lock logo here or the locked logo here. Now, if you just click on it, you can unlock it and change things. Sometimes the designers will do that because then it's easy, because if it's locked, you can't mistakenly drag it somewhere that you didn't intend to. But if you need to edit it, you definitely need to make sure it's unlocked. So now you can easily move it around. But when you're designing, sometimes it can be a challenge to actually have it stay in the place that you want it to. So I've kind of been going over the colors already, and you can easily change it. But I do want to add to the background, there is a whole section on backgrounds. You should be able to find one that says background, and this is going to have different textured ones or pictures. So say you want this landscape one for whatever reason. You kind of just click and drag it over and it automatically applies it. Obviously, in this case, it doesn't really go, but if that's what you're looking for, you can easily update it. Or say you want to have a textured looking one, like this grass one. Really can't see anything, but you get the drift. You can have stuff that has a little bit of more personality to it, or has some stones behind it, and just make it your own in that way. And the last thing to kind of go over is the layouts. It's very easy to change the layouts you're kind of getting the gist of as I've gone through some of this. But say on Thursday, you guys are not arriving in this hypothetical example until mid-afternoon. So you don't even need this 11 a.m. activity. So you could select the two lines. You could group them together to make it easier to kind of keep it anchored and with each other. Or you could delete them with either hitting the delete button on your keyboard or the delete trash can. And then you could say, move these more centered. And they try to give you plenty of guidelines so you know exactly where centered is or where everything is in relation to the paper. There's also this position button. Position will help you change things up a little bit. You can space even vertically, horizontally, tidy up, kind of makes it a big old mess in that regards because they are not grouped. If they were grouped, this wouldn't have been as big of an issue, causing a little bit of a mess there. You can easily undo things. That's the beauty of this. But also, if you're having different layers, so for instance, I'm going to group these just to make life easier. And then I'm going to group these and say, put them on top of each other. So now I'm trying to click and it's harder to click which one I want, especially if there's multiple things on top of each other. So say I don't want the 6 p.m. activity. I want Thursday and I can't grab Thursday. So if you click on it in the position tab, there's arrange, which you can easily forward back. But now Canva comes with this layers button. This layers button is awesome in the sense that you can easily know what layer everything's on. So for instance, looks like Thursday is not readily available. Here it is. It's way down at the bottom. So I can drag it to the top. And now I'm also clicked on it. So now I can move it back. I cannot figure out how to click on, say, this particular one. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to click on it here, but say hypothetically. But now you can click on it and it automatically selects it. So it makes it a lot easier to then subsequently move it around. So this is kind of basic overview of how to use Canva to update templates. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you are checking out, if you aren't already, the shop associated with Simply Organizing Life, and you'll see it in the link below. We have lots of different organizational handouts, including cruise packing lists. Because we are based out of the Central Florida area, there are some great hurricane preparation templates there as well. So please feel free to check it out. And then if you're coming from the shop and wanted some quick tips and tricks on how to update your template, I hope this was helpful. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out, whether leaving it in the comments below or sending us an email. As always, this channel is meant to help you create simple, optimized systems for your everyday life. So please follow along by hitting the subscribe button and the bell so you can be aware of all upcoming videos. The next one is going to be focusing a little bit more on travel as we're coming up to summer and it's about to get warm and people are going to be traveling for summer vacation. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and we'll see you next time. Bye now.